got held up till after 6 o'clock. Forgot it was manufacturers at 7 and nations is at 6. Or for those that do the military time, it's 1,800 per nations and 1,700 or 1,900 per manufacturers. Eastern Standard Time, of course. Watching people earlier, and looks like the Vipers are just chewing this one up. Brake too early. The first race I've done, it's actually FIA on this new screen. Used to doing it on a much smaller screen, and as I can tell now already it's impacted me a little bit. I had a 24, 26 inch TV screen that is on a TV that I used to carry around in my truck all the time, and the power supply on it was sort of funky, I think. Went to go power it on, and it sit there, and it had a little junction box on it. Normally it has a straight power in off a 12 volt DC. It's made by a company that's what they do, is they make TVs specifically for big rigs. So I had to have a junction box to convert AC to DC, and then, or you have a straight cable that runs DC straight into the back of them. I had to get them television out to a vehicle and plug it in to make sure it's the junction box and not the TV. Because if it's the junction box, it's about 40 bucks to replace. It's a TV that ain't worth messing with. Oh, 131. Oh, I'm way off. So I went ahead and started hitting this. Started getting my lap times down. Still gotta bring it down another 2 seconds. Still more time on that first turn for sure. That was bad, but it was still faster than I did it last time. There goes a second. Figured I was losing time there. So it takes me, sometimes it takes me a little bit to get in the rhythm of that. Screw myself out of time on the last sector there, as usual. Apex in there somewhere. Still pulling time out of that sector. How you doing? That was horrible. Brake too early. Oh, be patient about that one. Let the car go around the corner before I start trying to take off. Let's see where we're at. 34 seconds. Then the lobby opens up. Getting close here. Having problems getting into the corners for some reason. It's gonna be one of those days, I think. Hopefully this car, from what I've been watching, the Viper's been doing really well here. Mostly because the fuel and the tires. You do have to fuel save. Some vehicles are going to have to heavily fuel save, like the Fords. But the Viper can go almost flat out. It's horrible. Always losing time in that last sector. It can go almost flat out throughout the whole race because of its natural fuel saving. It's 2 tire compounds required, mediums and hards, and you're not messing with the softs except for in qualifications. It's 20 seconds, 22 seconds off the at the pit. You're talking about you're losing almost a third of a lap. Starting to get that last corner right, just need to get the one port right. Alrighty, here we go. Cool. Dear God, we got the guy from KSRT, the team leader, who's about dirty as all get out. Slot 1 there. Probably AMG. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to be on the Brazilian servers too. So, and we got one Brazilian, one Argentinian, one Chilean, however you pronounce it. Yeah, there's no limit. He's cool. Oh, I didn't even see him. We got Mateus in here. He's showing himself to be a little bit dirty in the last race. Oh. Well, at least I'm getting in on that corner now. Missed that one though. Let's see how this goes. That wasn't a penalty. Wasn't too good, but at least I didn't over-rotate that time. A little bit late on the brake. too bad considering we're on fuel. See if we can clean those mistakes up. That was worse. Oh, that was bad. Just giving the guy behind me a tow now. Oh, he must have messed up back there. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. Last lap. That was a whole lot better. Might set a better time. We can hold it together through here. I don't know. I think I lost a bunch of time there. Nope. I did pull some out. Edged out, no limit. Oh no, he went ahead. He's behind me. He was getting a tow. Oh well. Those 911s, I'm not too worried about them. They have to conserve fuel a lot more than I do. The vets are an issue. The GTR in front is going to be. It's a little bit on the fuel and tire hungry side. That's right. Marvel's in Jag. He chose the OP, and then it got nerfed. That's what happens when you choose the OP. I think Polyphony's gotten wise to that crap. They'll let everybody do their testing, and they already know that they're going to do the. We need to change this. They already know they're going to do the. We'll start off on the hards. We're back in 7th. You know, we're going to do a couple of laps on the hards. I watched a guy in second split over in Europe. He did 1 lap on the hards. I don't think my tire savings is that great, so I'm going to go to maybe 3 laps. I'm good, but don't think I'm that good. That lady had some. So we got the GTR in the lead with a somewhat stock livery. Yeah, we'll see how he holds out. The vet's strong here. It has the same situation as the Viper, but it doesn't do as well in the corners. So when they had the Redbull Group 3 going on, I was testing the vet here, and it seems a little, coming out of the corners, it's a little bit looser because it's got a little bit more get up and go off the accelerator. That's a good thing. When you're burning fuel, you're doing the wrong. There's a reason why everybody else is sitting dead silent. Alrighty, we're in 7th. We should start around the corner. I think 8th is going to start on the corner. 8th, maybe 9th. Oh, dude. Thanks. Oh well, this race is over. Getting your front end damage too. Oh, hope we got a penalty for that. No, he didn't. Well, guess we're going to have to get a little bit drastic here. Yeah, you screwed up. If you're already on the sauce, you should have just held on to him. Try to make up the time you're going to lose in the pits. make up that little bit of fuel that it needs. And see if we can't make up some time out from behind people. What his deal is. Check my brake balance, make sure it's set right. Viper's very neutral, so you can run at 0 and get good results. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we gotta have 15 laps of fuel still. And here I am counting and burning. They must have adjusted the Viper's consumption a little bit because it's burning a little bit more than I expected it would. Explains why the guy over there in Europe was able to pull us lap 2. There's actually a lap 1 change because he was because he was short shifting the whole time. Means he wasn't burning the tires up. Still a lap short on fuel. That's too wide. Part of that second was because he tapped me. I don't know if it was neck coat or what, but I was braking and it was like I wasn't braking at all. Okay, I didn't get a penalty for it. Probably because he hit me. Yeah, you dumbass, I'm here. You can't come over. You can't pinch me up. I got your back end. I'll spin you out. Look at him. Dirty freaking piece of crap. Laying on me in the corner. Almost got our wheel under control. Start stepping it out now. Show him where he made his mistake, because he just pretty much caught me up on fuel. Now that I'm caught up on fuel, I can start pushing. He's going too slow through that corner. I shouldn't have had to gone in the first. Tried to over-rotate. I knew that was going to catch me at one point. Times down. That was horrible. Oh, I tried to spin out on that lap. 130 is not bad for a race pace for me, but it still needs to come down a little bit more, and it should be in the 29s. Maybe once the fuel gets a little bit lower. We're now over-fueled a little bit. Or no, we're still right on. I count the lap that you're on too, so that puts us at 8 laps left. starting to build up in front of us. Might back him back into me again. Tires are starting to give a little bit. Lost a bunch of time in that corner. Almost half a second to the guy behind me. Screwed that one up. He missed his turn 2, turn 3, whatever you're calling that up. Damn it. Figured that was going to happen. A little bit too wide to the right or left there. Sorry about that. You broke a little bit early though. Trying to see if I can't remember that. I'm still behind you. Why is that not surprising? Mateus, PRST, so Marvel, all of them tied up in a wreck. Oh, what the? It's the second time somebody's went off in front of me and took me out. Why is the back end not wanting to stay on it? Oh well. We're guaranteed to be going another race anyway. That guy that freaked me out and messed me up at the beginning of the race right there. Spun out in front of me and took my nose with him. About 6 spots right there in front of me. They get to wrecking each other. What the hell that was about? it will be going again on that one. That's for damn sure. I probably have a car all beat up and then people spinning out for trying to me taking my nose out. I was the only Viper there, okay. Yeah. Yeah, well, you pissed me off. You pushed me off, too. Yeah. Lap 1, turn 1. Let's go ahead and get our free car. And get my little sticky tape. Just a minute. Pin right on it, too. Wonder what I do with my pen. Doing. So I have to keep up with the fuel. 19, 16, 15, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. By that time we should be able to count it out easily without having to. Actually, no. What's that? So we got 16 minutes, 15 minutes. I had a couple of my own mistakes in that race. Going wide once and having the back come up from behind me a couple of times. If not for those two major mistakes, so I probably would have come out at least in the top 10, if not better. So what I do is I'm writing 2 columns of numbers. The first one is laps left 19 to 1. Actually, I think it's 0. Because you got, so, no, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, you got 19, so there's no 0. And then you counter that going up, starting from 1. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19. And that tells you what lap you're on. The one on the left tells you which one, how many laps of fuel you have. The one on the right tells you what lap you're on. So if I don't need to look anymore. I don't need to sit there and count anymore. I just look at the little stickum. I got a sticky pad here, a little 3x5. I stick it out in front of me, so now I don't have to try to figure out while I'm driving down the road how many laps of fuel I need left. Because as you've seen, there's enough laps. If you start counting, there's not enough straightaway, especially early on in the race. And that's when it's important, because you want to get your fuel saving done early so that you can push at the end. Because I probably screwed myself out of a couple of laps of push because I was pushing too hard at the beginning. But I'm going to go get something to drink. I'll be back in just a minute. Here and see if we can get the kinks worked out again. Because we're still running quite a bit slow to what our time should be. We're almost a second off of our pace going into the race, so. Usually after the first race, so that gets straightened out. Because race pace and time trial pace are two completely different beasts. Sitting there looking, I may need to go -1 for the first part of the race, and then shift it back to 0 whenever I get about halfway through. Because that left rear was really hurting at the end of the race. And that's part of the reason whenever jerk off spun out in front of me that it wouldn't straighten up. It's because that left rear was not grabbing. So it was trying to spin, and the right rear was grabbing, so it was trying to spin me out. Plus, at this turn right here where that happened, there's a natural tendency for the car to try to spin to the right there. So, get my left and right straightened out today. That's a problem right there. That's probably why I was having problems with that corner myself. I was trying to break on the soft point with the mediums and the hards. Screwed that last turn up. Too slow into the corner. Sony needs to get their server choice options down before GT7 comes out. But they're going to continue with this 3-region racing system, because there was no reason that 16 drivers should have had to put up with laggy connection because of 4. The majority of the drivers were in North America. They should have been on North American servers. And that's easily handled in the matchmaking process. I think what they're doing is, because if you notice when we went into the race, well, the number 1 guy was Marvel, which is he's on North American, but the number 2 guy was Chilean, I think it was, and he may have had a better time trial time because he came out ahead of me on the in the qualifying. As you can see, I think I pretty much put that myth to bed that the PlayStation 5s get out first. I'm on a PlayStation 4 base, not a Pro, and I came out second in qualifying. And I was connected to the Brazilian servers, so my internet connection is nothing to laugh. And I mean, it's not something. It's not dial-up, but it's a joke compared to most people's because I live out in the county. It's 25 miles to town either way, north or south. And east is swamp, so or east is the coast and west is the swamp. As the crow flies, I'm like 3 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, so. There's just not a road straight from here back to there. So the closest boat dock is like 5 miles away. And that doesn't dump you straight into the Atlantic, that dumps you into a causeway because you have to go a little bit south where the islands are started. There's a barrier island system out there to the east of where I'm at, out where the Space Center is at. And I live just north of the furthest north island there. So what I had to do is come out and go onto the highway and go south about 2 or 3 miles, and then there's a road that takes me back in there to a secluded boat ramp. You can get 2 boats in there at the same time. Usually what people do is they'll come dump their boat, lock everything up, and then come back there whenever they're finished with the boat and pull it out of the water. There is a marina in town, but it's for the bigger boats and it's expensive. They charge like if you're out on one of the decks where they've got power cable and all that stuff run, you're looking at spending about $300-400 a night, and that doesn't include you get basic, you get power, you don't get cable, but you get I think they provide internet, but it's a sort of a junky internet because the cables are out over water, salt water, so they're constantly getting saltwater intrusion into them because the salt water is just in the air because it's sitting over top of it. And it's part of the reason Florida has such a humidity problem is that three sides surrounded by water. But and then they offer extra services. For instance, you can hook up to the sanitaries, your stuff to pump the commode and stuff whenever you flush it. Or you can offer, you can use their other service, which they come in, you go and hook up to it and pay a one-time fee, and they pump it out just like they would an RV. I think I need to check my time here because I only had like 10 minutes left, and I almost used up my 10 minutes on time trial there. Yep, almost dead on. See if we can't do better this time. Hopefully we won't get taken out twice. I'd like to beat, because I'm more than capable of doing it, beat my current score, which is 143 points. So that way, when it's either going to be this round or the next round, the second set of points, I guess I could have checked that. They'll start going to 2 races instead of 1. I think it's on race 4 is that when they do that, they go to 2 races in the season count. And then around race 7 or 8, we'll get 3 races in the season. What is our daily mission? Yeah, that's what I thought. I figured that was coming. easy once you get into this one here. Yeah, we can take that easy to the next leg. Oh, he's got Malinois in there with the Catalina. Might be a problem. Let's take a look and see. Oh yeah, we can do this. We just need to change this to middle. And we're going to slide these up here. Oh, damn it. Oh, well. Still doing okay. He doesn't have any DPS units left. He just got Floria, Ceres, and Lemonaire. Oh, that's why my times are down so hard. I'm practicing on the hards, not the mediums. That's why the car feels a little bit squiddly. You can't accelerate on the hards on that sausage. It will cinch you every single time. Doesn't matter what car you're in. You try to accelerate on that sausage with a hard tire and it's going to cinch you over to the right hand side. If it doesn't, just spin you out completely. If you're in an MR car, it's probably just going to spin you out. Too wide, probably gonna be a penalty. I don't know what's up with this car. It didn't used to be that way. Wasn't so happy on the rear. I know they haven't done a power up on it. And they haven't reduced weight on it, so. Unless they did something stealthy. So I think that they've adjusted the fuel consumption because it seemed to be burning a little bit more. So that could be what it is they have done a minor power change to increase the fuel cost. Not enough to that, or they just didn't announce that they did the power change. But I would think the fuel consumption is just a slider on their system, on their side. Instead of using X percent fuel per lap, it uses X percent, or Y percent, however you want to say that. And it's probably not in percentages, it's in decimals. car is going to use at setting 1. It's going to use 0.8 something liters of fuel, or however they're incrementing their thing. We use gallons over here. That's what I never could understand. Over in Europe, they're paying 3 times almost what we're paying for per liter over what we're paying per gallon. And you can fit several liters in a gallon, so. Of course, I understand some of that's because they don't produce fuel, so they have to import it all. And America has oil and natural gas, and they've pretty much gotten rid of all of our manufacturing, turning petroleum into gasoline. There's only like 2 or 3 processing plants inside the United States anymore. Most of them were in the Gulf, and the hurricanes over the years have taken them out, and the government's refused to allow them to have the permit to put a new one back up because the EPA. Our own companies can't benefit, but yet the British Petroleum can come over here and drill into our oil from offshore, outside on international water, and then have a problem, and it affects us much more than a petroleum processing plant would. And right now I know for a fact that there's 4 Chinese oil rigs off the coast of where I live at, about 40 miles out in international water. And they were built by America, and they're tapping into the oil underneath Florida because they're coming in at an angle. Of course, the good thing about that is their little junk fleet that they got, that multi-thousand ship junk fleet, wouldn't be able to make it over here to patrol our waters. They have a hard time patrolling the China Sea. They call them fishing boats, but they got videos of them out, them ramming other boats, including military boats. There's one where they tried to ram an American destroyer because the American destroyer was over there trying to get them to break up and quit blockading. Yep. Thought I went a little bit too wide. Went too wide going into the corner, or coming out of the corner of this corner prior to the final corner. Exactly how I got caught. The good thing, where it's at and how this car is geared at, you don't have to downshift when on the penalty, as long as it's only a 0.5. 1 second, you're definitely going to downshift. That's true of any car. But a lot of cars, on a half-second penalty, they'll generally have to downshift because their gearing's a little bit less wide. Porsche is one of the few that you don't have that problem with because it's got really long gears. But when you get down to it on the Porsche to get optimal speed out of it, while it has really long gears, it's only using the top portion of the gear. You try to keep the rev limiter up, keep the turbos spooled up. Accelerator is sort of jerky tonight. I just tapped it and it was like I almost put it to the floor. You can hear the engine go. Did it again. Guess I need to go ahead before I do this and get the softs on, so I'm not fighting with that. Set it to brake balance -1 for the qualifying. This gives the car just a little bit of rotation when you're trying to really push. It's a rear engine, front engine car, so you want the brake balance to the rear. That allows the front to roll a little bit more into the turn. It creates sort of an understeer situation, which suits me because that's the first manufacturers I went with was McLaren, and I learned how to deal with understeer quite a bit. You don't drive McLaren and not learn how to do it. In both Group 3 and Group 4 cars, including the F1, heavy understeer. Ooh. He's got a +15 Orfina. That can be pretty nasty. What's he got under her runs? Oh, he's got defense runs. Okay, so let's have a look and see how this is going to go. Okay, so he's got everything in the bottom row. We're going to leave Memo and Air down there to soak up for that group. Think about it. That might be a bad idea there. He's got her back there, DPS and protecting Michaela. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so we got me, Sickus, I don't even know what flag that is. There's another guy up here, OGT from Argentina. So there's 3 Vipers in this race. I don't see any of our, that answers the question though. We definitely haven't already gone into next point, so it's still just a one race point system right now. Points are just actually a little bit higher. I don't know why it did that. Must have pulled on the cable a little bit when I moved that. He was coming in too shallow for that corner. He was just going to try to dive underneath me. And I was able to get through the corner fast enough in a straight enough line that his bump gave me a little shove. So yeah, I figured that's what was going to be the case, but it was better than the last one where we only took 1 star. We're actually on a much higher, because I think I was like in 7th or 8th on the pole. Of course, I lost some DR because I got placed way back behind where I was supposed to be at, but I think this is a higher lobby. I know who the Stig is. He's related to that show that had the old Jeremy what's-his-face. It was a car show. But I never really did get into watching that show because the guys that do the American version are so wrapped up in doing off-road crap. And the guys that do the original version had a big disdain for NASCAR until one of them actually got put in a NASCAR and ran around Daytona. So, I mean, I don't like NASCAR because of the sportsmanship that goes on it. It's very piss poor sportsmanship. It's all a show for them, and they don't have any problem putting blood on the pavement. Hence the reason in NASCAR robbing is racing. But even in NASCAR, they've started straightening some of that up, bringing the rules more along in the FIA standards, where contact should be avoided, not rewarded. better. That's probably a penalty. I didn't expect for that fourth place to stick very long. I did better in the last race for qualifying. It's all about being patient in that turn. Wait for the front end to come around and get lined up before you press the fuel. Sixth after the second. So we get down in 28s. That's where I need to be at. Oh, he got a penalty in front of us. Seventh, or 6/100ths off of the, or 6/10ths off of the leader. Too soon on the accelerator. Had to short shift. I just lost that all that time. Because we were already 0.05, 5/100ths. So. Ended up that only cost me 1.2 or 0.12. If I'd have gotten it right, I probably would have beat my time, but we're starting out in 8th. I just hope that McLaren don't get in front of me because this track, the McLaren can be really tough because you have to overtake it in the handling section because you're not going to beat it down the straight unless you're maybe in a vet. And then coming from turn 1 to turn 2, it gets into 6th gear, so just nobody's going to catch it unless you're in a McLaren. Get our hards on. Get our traction control set back to 0. We need to get 5th or better. 5th to put us tying up with our current points. This lobby, I don't know. Number one, 6/10 ahead of me. He's only 3/10 behind my fastest time trial time. So, what is he in? That's the McLaren. Oh crap! I don't know what he's saying. I have no idea why he's saying thanks to me. I didn't do anything to him. Go back and look at the stream and see what he's talking about, because I didn't mess anybody up as far as I'm aware. There was a guy right at the beginning on the outlap for qualification that he was being slow, so I went on by him. There, he was in front of me, so I don't know. Maybe he was thanking me for the tow I gave him. Should probably do that. So your idea of a paint job is a flat paint job with a carbon bottom and a big spray paint circle in the center of the door. Okay. Hunter. Gonna get your cups and spray paint, draw and put paint on the paper with the cup and call it art. Start far enough back, I'm probably gonna start in this corner. Oh, good. Whew. Gee, thanks, guy. Freaking F1 up here. Hondo's really slow through those corners. He's letting those guys get up beside me. He may be doing it on purpose, trying to get me off of his butt. That guy must be on some mediums or softs, the way he's braking. Oh, you went on softs, you're screwed, man. I don't know what you're in here. If you came out on softs, stay out on softs and use them. Get you a couple of laps, cut some of that time you're going to lose in that pit off. Might need to dial the fuel back just a smidgen. Good lap so far. It still feels like it is. I think we took that corner a little bit too hard, but we outbroke ourselves there on that last corner. It's not bad. 130.4. You have to wonder, some of these guys, they were on the softs to try to set a lap time, and then they're not worried about what position they're in. They just want to be the best lap. Half lap behind on fuel right now, so I have to save a little bit more. Of course, some of that will come back to the car because the weight, as the weight drops off, it doesn't use as much. I have to say, I like the way this thing handles with -1. It's cutting these corners a lot better. Either the Dundo screwed up somewhere or I beat him in the pits, because he was ahead of me. Now he's way behind me. Still about a quarter of a lap shy on fuel. Starting to come back though. Gonna be a very boring race, it looks like. Everybody's behind me or way up ahead, and the ones up ahead haven't pitted yet, so we'll see how they go. Let's not do that. The good thing is the guys behind me are fighting, so if I make a mistake, I can probably get some of it back. So we're on lap 8. We should have 12 laps of fuel left. We're just about perfect right now. tires are looking good. Don't need to change anything yet. Mixmaster must be pushing. I think he's in a Dodge, so he probably saved up a little bit more fuel than I did early on. Or he topped it off when he was in the pit. I mean, I could have done that. It doesn't go, race doesn't go that well this time. I'll probably do that on the next one. Let's go ahead and just top it up. Oh, he's in a vet, that's why. It's okay, we'll let you draw us up. I don't know where you're at because I'm watching my fuel, buddy. Somebody's put a 29 in. Look at this guy right here in front of me. Yeah, he's pushing hard. I wonder if he's on softs. He doesn't appear to be the way he's freaking sliding all over the place. He's out breaking himself and everything. Don't chew his tires up that way though. So I won't have to worry about him staying out there in front of me too much longer. Too shallow. You stay out longer. I just lost a slip to him, so oh well. That guy just pulled fastest lap. That means when everybody pits in, we may be 1 and 2 or up close. Let's see where we're at. Lap 11. So you have 9. To back off a little bit. I've burned a little bit too much fuel. Back to half lap down. Comes one back to us. See if he makes it out. He's far enough ahead. He should make it out back out of the pits before we get around there. So. That's probably gonna be a penalty. Yep. Not too far to the left there. Gain a position somewhere. That was my own fault. Short shifted and I should have waited. Was looking at my fuel, not paying attention to what the penalty line coming up. Right on for the fuel right now. Be a little bit conservative, save some. I won't take it all the way up to the ship point, we'll just shift at 50. Start catching some of these guys here because some of them just shifted onto hards. Man, we're not that high a level of racing at this point, but even at this level you should be able to go more than 14 laps on mediums in just about any car. I'm thinking some of these guys, what the problem is they pushed hard and they've used up too much fuel, so they had to pit early. Moved up to 6th. Should be somebody coming out right behind, but they're coming out of the pit, so. Nope. Dundo got past 2. Getting a little bit of surplus of fuel, so I might be able to start fighting here. Alright. Keeping Dundo at bay. There's another position we just took because he just pitted. Ain't no way he's getting out before we get around past him. fifth place. That's where we wanted to be. We need to be at fourth to actually get better points, but fifth place is good. Of course, podium may be great. One of these guys up here mess up on their hards. Or one of these guys up here haven't pitted yet. Just running on really warm mediums. Because we're only 8 seconds off the leader. Penalty there. Yep. Tires are starting to fade. We got somebody coming up through here. I think that's that guy with the freaking F1. Puts us in second. We got a podium coming on. That's the guy, one of the Dodge guys. Woo. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on, give me a bump. Don't kill us. Tried to cut that corner too close. Just couldn't get on my fuel quick enough. He really fell off. He messed up. He's 5 seconds behind. Got second place at least, maybe first. Let's go, let's go, let's go. That's exactly why I like getting the hard compound out of the way earlier. Besides the fact that it usually gives me the jump in the pits, is the fact that if I make a mistake, it's early on in the race and you can make up for it some. Woo! Yeah. We'll definitely take those points. That's like 162 or something like that. Ooh. $164, yeah. Plus 7 positions. Woo! That was a good race. I mean, there wasn't no hard racing with anybody else, but it didn't have anybody messing me up, and I wasn't messing anybody else up, and it was all done in the pits. And Mix Masher ended up back in 8th. Let's save that replay. And then tell everybody thanks for the race. Good race. What's this guy on about? Oh, that's what Mix Masker went in for his tires and put softs on instead of the hards, so he had to take an extra pit. That's what softs will get you right there. He was ahead of me, and he was walking off and leaving me, and he ended up behind me because he had to take the extra pit, way behind me. But that was good, and I'm going to be leaving it at that. 164 points. Let's see, where does that put us in the points? Brings us up almost to the top of our points thing there. DSO is just, he's worked himself up into a position. He's a fair bit faster than I am, admittedly, but he's worked himself up into a heat that he can't compete. So he's not going to get good points unless he drops some DR. Lisa Salters is actually falling backwards. She was an A+ at the beginning of the season, but that's going to put us at the top of our Florida. And then we won't go into those because it's going to blank it out. 196 points is going to, or 64 points is going to put us in 10th if nobody increases for the manufacturer. And then for the region, we're currently ranked 455th, but that's going to come up quite a bit with that 164 points. And then when the second points come in and that 143 rolls in, it's probably going to jump us up way up. But I mean, it's just to be expected when you got Fraga and Windfire, Death Sun, You got all these people over here, and they like to talk about how the European Union is so competitive. This guy right here is a professional racer. He was a GT Sport racer or I think he was actually a GT6 or GT5 racer that went through GT Academy and was picked up by a racing team. So, you know, you can talk about how good the EU is and how bad the Americans are, but the people you're running through in dailies aren't these people. You'll see these people at the beginning of the week, and that you won't see them again because they race with their team in private lobbies. Well, to practice it all week. But thanks for coming in, whoever just came in. I'm going to be signing off. Unless you want me to go through and do the replay. I didn't catch the replay of the qualifying lap, but I think that guy was thanking me because I gave him the tow around 2 laps, and he ended up like 3 positions ahead of me. Actually, you know what? I tell you what, I got to catch up on this other thing, so I'll go ahead and do that. Run the replay and take a look at some of these people and see what happened with them. Because my race was almost spotless. I went up 7 positions. You can't ask much better than that. I was right on first but just didn't have enough left in me. While we're doing that, I'll go ahead and get my well broke down because I'm not going to be using it anymore. Mic's going off for a minute so you guys don't hear me sitting here cluttering around. Okay, get back into our normal gaming chair and it's a little bit more comfortable. I built a little fold-up table thing. It's I won't say it's a table, it's like a box. It's I went to the junkyard and picked up a 350Z seat, put it in a wood frame, steel reinforced, and the steel reinforced is the reason part is there is because it allows for me to put hinges on it. Let's go ahead and pause this for a minute. Get back here. Get this turned on. Now I'm interested to see because this guy was at the beginning, at the front. No, that's not the guy that was at the front. That was the 650, not the F1 here. Because he was all over us, like right, real quick. Oh, he's not saving fuel, that's why. This car, to save fuel, you're shifting before you hit. In this race, I'd say I'd be shifting at the 50% mark. See, the guy in the green was being over ambitious. I want to look at that. What tires? He's on the hards. Yeah, he's being way over ambitious. And then, yes, he dove it, and I just held my position. And I was trying to get the Dundo to get going, but that Porsche just didn't have it to keep up with the Supra. But it, you know, if you want to be aggressive, I can be aggressive too. So. See how much I had to stand on the brakes there? It made the whole car lean to the left because I was having to brake so hard while turning, because Dundo was over braking the corner. I just let it go. You want to be like that? That's fine. I mean, he did take the corner. To just if I hadn't have stopped, he'd have been into my side. And then I'd have been off in the dirty tires and. But she probably, with the way the penalty system's set right now, he probably wouldn't have gotten a penalty for that. But and he wasn't even paying attention to his name. That explains why he was being the way he is. He thinks he's Mario Andretti. Of course, I go in for a pit now and get out from behind him. And he got a penalty coming around that corner. So I would have been past him anyway, because he's going to take a penalty on the long straight up here instead of on the back short section. And I was close enough behind him that I would have overtaken him, but you know, Carpo was the guy that won the race, so that's not surprising he's out front. There goes that McLaren. He still enjoyed driving, racing that car. The cool thing about that car is you can mess up in the corner because it doesn't handle corners very well. Come out onto the straight and just blow straight times away. The only other car that can keep up with you on the straight is a Vet, and that's only until you get into 6th gear. Once you get into 6th gear in that car, nothing keeps up with you. No, I take that back. There is another car. The Lambo will go 1 through 4 side by side, door to door with the F1. When you get into 5th gear, it falls. Had that opportunity racing around Tokyo east, coming out of the hairpin with the Lambo beside me, and we were neck and neck all the way down into the tunnel. And then we got down the tunnel, and we were both into 5th gear, and I was starting to edge out in front of him, and I popped it into 6th and just walked off away from him. So let's go back here and see who all messed up. We're going to go back to the beginning here. We're going to pause this, and then we're going to go through the cars. So he started on hards. He's good. And I started on hards. That's good. Hards. Mediums. He's a bit far back from mediums, but that's okay. Mediums. He's a bit far forward for hards. He should have been on. He's on mediums. He's on mediums. He's on mediums. I know somebody started on softs because I seen him go in on like lap 2, and that was the worst mistake they could have made. You came out on softs. You're in P13 and you forgot to change your tires, is what you did. Use the softs up. Use them up. You're gonna need that as much time as you can off of that 22 seconds. Because you've already put yourself 22 seconds in the hole being on softs. Mediums, 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 hards. See all these guys back here on mediums. Yeah. So let's go ahead and start this back up, and we'll shift up into a few laps here. Get us back up into our position. Oh, something happened there. Let's see. So 18 and 19 are fighting each other. 18 hits 17, collects 19, pushes him off. Thank you for the 3 positions. I'll take those. And we got some other stuff going on up here. What's going on up here? This is up here in the pack that I'm at, dude. See, I'm right there at the top, at the front of that pack. Oh, Gaston almost took that McLaren out. As it gets saved, because that 650 is a hard car to keep going forward if you get sideways a little bit. The Group 4 doesn't have that problem, but the Group 3 is like, it's like rolling around on roller skates. Nope. There wasn't anything he could do about that. That guy was already out of whack, losing his rear end, and he just took the corner, and the guy was way under speed because he was trying to collect it. See if these guys back here at the back are still duking it out. And there's the Cuban Stig. He should have kept his... He came out ahead of me in the last race. I think he should have kept his position. Let's see how he does come to the end of the race. So we're on lap 3. I've already been into pit. These guys are gaining positions because of that. Yeah, I'm back at the back. Nobody else. Oh, I'm pitting now. Okay. Let's see, there goes that guy on the softs. I'm gonna go back here real quick, take a look and see. Oh no, damn it! I want to see what his tire wear was. Was it this guy here? Why he chose to pit at that time?
He's in the Genesis. The Genesis is OP on tires too, so and it has a really good clip. I don't know why he didn't just hold on to the softs and just go. Maybe he was looking to try to catch a break and get some clean air, make up some time for the loss that he's going to take on having to do the extra pit. Maybe that's what it was. He was planning on getting behind Toxic Rod and using him to pull him forward to make up some time. Unfortunately, the 650 S3 took a nerf, so it's I know it was the Group 4 that took a nerf. Maybe the Group 3 too. I know McLaren got hit pretty hard, and then they did the MR updates, which really screwed them over. It's because now the F1, the tires on the F1 are just horrid. They come out on the hards, see how long he took the hards for. If he takes them for any more, at this point, if he takes them for any more than one lap, he's screwed. Trying to break that's one of the big things why it's a big no-no going from softs to hards. If you're going to grade yourself, go one step, not two. He's got 2 laps of driving, gotten used to the softs being there, and now he's trying to brake at the soft braking point with hard tires, and it's not working. As you can see, he's all over the track. Yep, he's done screwed up. Shouldn't have been for 2 laps on the hards at this point. Oh, and now he's, yeah, and now he's really screwed up. And he hit the start button so the computer will straighten him out and get him going again. That's weak. That is just weak. I mean, he's using the mechanics that are available to him, but that's just weak. I'm sorry, but I watched a guy. He was driving top split in Asia, and that's what he was doing. He was screwing up at Redbull ring or Nürburgring, and every time he screwed up, he'd hit the start button and let the computer fix him. And there was one time he got spun around, and the computer sat there and bounced him off the wall a few times before it actually got him spun around, and then he ended up with a 1.5 seconds penalty. And you're in top split. No, you shouldn't be doing that. You should know that you're going to get that car spun around yourself quicker than that computer will. So he's on the mediums, but he's waited till lap 5 to do it. So, and that's, I could see that with the Super. The Super sort of, it chooses rear tires up quite a bit. In this race, as you already seen, I had to put -1 on the Viper to keep between the rears up on the mediums. Unfortunately, with the replay, it doesn't show us what his, now, you'll also notice he's using traction control. That's fine, but there's a lot of sections that are fast turn, sweeping corners on this track, and that traction control's gonna see. Traction control kicked in, and it made his car swerve a little bit, and then he hit that other car and it made his back end kick out. And not to mention 1/10. And now that's a penalty there most likely. Yep, no, he got his penalty. And that was directly caused because the traction control in a high-speed corner will throw off your car's momentum because it's trying to brake the car more than you're braking it. And when I say brake, especially with turbos, but all cars do it naturally. When the engine is let off, which is what the traction control is doing, is it's disengaging the accelerator. It causes what's called engine braking. You don't have as much fuel and air going into the system, so the engine itself isn't providing the maximum power, and therefore it's dragging the transmission in the rear down to its RPM, which will usually cause things like differential lock and stuff like that. Now, if they had a proper traction control system, it wouldn't be near as horrible as it is in Gran Turismo Sport, but that's the system we're dealing with. We're dealing with something that's coming out of like the 70s and the 80s as far as their data. Of course, if we had a proper traction control system, it wouldn't just be 0 through 5. It'd increment. And the same thing with the brakes. It wouldn't be just -5 through +5. They'd be a lot more fine-tuned. I've watched some of the onboards for some of the guys, and when they do their brake adjustments, sometimes they're only adjusting the brakes by 0.01 or 0.02. The amount of braking change that you're doing by shifting it from 4 to 3 or 0 to -1 is much higher than 0.01 or 0.02. Looks like, for the most part, the race went pretty static at this point. There's another group up here. We're down to 19 players, so somebody quit at this point. So is this the group? This is the front of the group here, and I'm right there. And there's Mixmasher right behind me, that's right. And what happened to the guy behind him? Okay, that's the Dundo. So what happened was Mixmaster come out of that last corner onto the start and finish straight and walked off and left his Porsche. Probably because he missed his turn. Let's see. No, he did pretty good on a turn. The Porsche can actually handle that turn a little bit, just a little bit faster, but it just didn't have the pull to keep up with the vet. That's for sure. Even in the slipstream, the vet will walk off and leave this thing. Again, we're static until we get up to this. What's going on up here? Let's see. He's right at the back of this pack up here. He's still on the hard, so he hasn't pitted yet. See, even on the hard, see those back tires are starting to wear pretty good. And he's definitely not saving fuel enough. I mean, we're not even halfway through the course, and he's already used up more than half of the fuel. If you're watching, dude, 50%. If it's a heavy fuel saver, don't even let the bar, the rev indicator bar, pop up on the screen. As soon as you see the first red blip, just let it go and change gears. And this car even has a power band below that you can use to save fuel if you have to have a super heavy fuel saving. I used it whenever the first time Sardegna played. We had Sardegna A with Group 3, and I used the F1 to take first place. And I was in a lobby that I should not have been in. Everybody was way faster than me. And partly because nobody wanted to do the race because it was such a new track. And I took first place in it with this car because I did a no stop. And I think that race, I mean, you know how big Sardegna A is. I think that race we had like ×7 or ×8 fuel modifier, and it was 12 or something like that laps. Everybody was. I was surprised because everybody was pitting, and I was like, "Why are you pitting? Why are you pitting?" At one point, I was down to fuel map 4, and then I started dialing it back up to 3 and 2 by the end of the race to get my fuel. But this car is capable of doing it, and it has the power to be able to maintain that sort of pace even in the low RPMs. In fact, the low RPMs actually help it out a lot because it's front light, because it's MR. You keep the RPMs low, the front end doesn't lift up off the ground as much, so you reduce some of the understeer. That Porsche hadn't gotten into him, he would have. Yeah, and the Porsche being dirty. If he hadn't gotten into him, the F1 would have been past him. And that Porsche is just trying to be a cork, trying to keep the F1 from going around, and net code just caused the back end of the Porsche to get kicked out because the F1 hit it. Alright, again, we got static. Let's go up here, and I want to go up here and look at this guy and see how he was doing on fuel, because I bet I scared the hell out of him whenever I was come rearing up on him. I bet he was just sitting there doing his thing, saving fuel, realizing that, oh god, this guy's, he's really can't, because I put like in 2 laps I gained almost a whole second on him. So we're at 12. We're just below 2/3. So he's right in the line on the fuel right now. And see, at this point, he doesn't even know who I am. He can't even see me on his thing, on his HUD. Does not even know who I am. That's another reason why I was gaining on him. He's using, again, TCS. We're about to get a bunch of people starting. Oh, he goes in the pits here. Okay. So he's on the mediums. He only went 13 laps on mediums. Wow. That was another reason why he was on hards when I was on the mediums. That's another reason why I was gaining on him so quickly. But I just about guarantee I scared the hell out of him, because I was 2.5 seconds behind him, and that was at lap 17, and we're coming up to lap 19, and I'm staring at his butt. I'm less than a second behind him. And now he knows who I am, because I'm right on his butt. I'm coming down just behind him there. He's going into turn. I'm braking, going into turn. But at this point, he's probably not concentrating on me. He's trying to catch up to those guys in front, not knowing that they're going to pit or what. I'm sure he had some idea that most of them were still had to pit. There goes 2 of the pitters. And see, these guys, they pitted far enough ahead. They should have come out ahead of me. That last guy that pit, Doc Co-op, and the OGT guy, I'll come out ahead of them. So he's popping up ahead of these guys. Some of them's gonna come out though. Let's see. No. Okay, so they're still in the pit. So I got one coming out now. Here comes the second one, and I beat the first one out. And then he gets tied up with the group coming out behind me. Which is why, okay, so he got a half-second penalty for corner cut. And that guy behind him is it's the guy that pit, I believe. and dodged a bullet because that Viper was about to be chewing all over his ass. And the Viper's fighting for his life because the guy in the blue car is just ramming him in the corners. Okay, so those two cars have now. Okay, so that's the McLaren, and that's a McLaren. So the two McLarens are going at it with each other. Let me smash it. Oh, he put on softs. And he's using them up though. At least he was smart about it. He went in, I bet he went all the way up to lap 19 and then pitted and put hards on. That's why he went by me so fast. He was on freaking softs. And his comment, you have to go back in the stream and look at his comment at the end of the race. Oh, we would have been 1-2 except I put the racing softs on. No, you wouldn't have been in this position if you hadn't put the racing softs on at this point. But he did the best of what he did, what he could. I mean, it could have been far worse. He could have done like that guy that, we got two quitters so far. One of those guys is, I bet, is one of those people that started out, is that guy that started on the softs, whereas, yep, he's not in the race anymore, he's gone. He quit. The guy that started on the softs. See, this part scared me because I got that half-second penalty, and it got him right up on me, and I thought he was going to take me over, and I think he messed up in this corner down here, turn 2 or turn 3, however you look at it. Some people call this right here turn 2, and this up here turn 3. It's pretty much a straight shot. If you're not turning significantly, that I don't consider it a turn. No, he didn't mess up here. Oh, that's right, he messed up down here at the end of the straight here. So this would be turn 5 if you count in every single end of the road. Oh no, he didn't mess up there. I remember sitting there thinking, I was trying not to pay attention to what he was doing, because he, at this point, see, he's right on my butt, and I was like, well, I'm gonna lose this position, and then these guys go in and pit, and they're like, well, we're gonna make up 2 more, 3 more, so it's just me and El Carpo out front. Now I'm in second place now. It's like, ooh. And okay, so he got a half-second penalty here, and then but he fell off more than that half-second. He must have gooped it on his corner here. See, because the half-second penalty is not. I was at not too far after this. I was almost 5 seconds ahead of him, and then he got passed by. He had Toxic Rod ahead of him, and then he disappeared off the rolls. So let's see what happened to him. He's got a better line than I carry, but I don't like getting over there that far over to the right. because a lot of times that's dirty tires if you're that far over on those candy stripes. He's not coming in. Oh, he had a pit. Oh, he was on some racing softs. Okay. That explains it. That's why he ended up way back and why he fell off the rolls. And see, this is what we're on the last lap. Oh no, we're not on the last lap. He's still got 2 laps to go. He should have waited 1 more lap. He's going from softs to softs? No, hards. Yeah, he made a mistake just like the other guy. I know, and we are on the final lap. He made a mistake just like the other guy. He pitted softs to hards. That is just putting an overwhelming burden on your ability to drive the vehicle because you're used to driving the softs and now you're going to the worst compound available. And you have to reorient your braking. See, he's having all sorts of problems. And that was he had traction control on when he was doing all that spinning out. Must have only been running TCS 1. But for the most part, it was a rather. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of hard racing amongst the people. There were some altercations that went on early on. A few bumps and pushes here or there. But for the most part, once it got to like 2 or 3, it was pretty much static. Everything working around pit strategy. And I was really, really happy to have that 2nd place. I would have liked to have 1st, but I was happy to have 2nd. Or that's what I want to look at too. Oh shoot, damn it. Didn't want to do that. We need to go up here to this guy here. I want to look at his fuel at the end to see it. Because I was pressing. I realized that we come around lap 18, I realized I had too much fuel, so I started pressing hard. So right now he can just barely see me. That's 15. He can't even see me there. He can just barely see me. I'm starting to reel him in because he's on hard tires. Oh, he got a half second. Oh, I had a half-second penalty too, so. Okay, so he messed up there a little bit. TCS getting him. TCS was sitting there ratcheting on and off as he was going around that corner, and it was causing the back to slide a little bit. See. Still good on fuel. He's just struggling with racing hard, I guess. That's why he's. I mean, he's got TCS on. He's still spinning the tires out. My suggestion to people that can't get off TCS is this, and this is how I got off TCS. You go and you get the Audi TT. And you go do the endurance races and you set the Audi's power to as high as you can set it. And then the challenge is not to win the race, it's to not spin the tires. when you can take the Audi TT with the power maxed out on it and not spin the tires not a single time in the race, you'll get rid of TCS, I guarantee you. Because the Audi will spin the tires up going in a straight line, first through fourth gear, if the power's maxed out. And the cool thing about doing that with the Audi is because it's front-wheel drive, you don't have to worry about much other than accelerator control. So you can focus everything on doing your accelerator control and get your accelerator handling down so that you're not having problems like this. I still find myself doing it too, but this guy's that's one of the worst things he's doing is he's going from almost a dead stop to slamming on the accelerator as hard as it'll go. And if he didn't have TCS on, the car would be spinning out. You gotta grade it in. I mean, even a half-second grade is going to let the car get momentum enough to where your full acceleration is not going to make the car spin out. I mean, I know when you're listening to my audio, you can hear me going click, 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 click. That's the paddle shifters. You never hear my pedals going boom, 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 while I'm slamming down on them. Anyhow, I hope you guys had a good race. I did, and I'm going to call this a day. I'll be keeping an eye out to see what my friends list is doing. We might also go ahead and share this out, but I'll go ahead and shut you down so that we're not trying to stream and upload at the same time. So we'll see you on Sunday, with Saturday with the nations. So Saturday we got. Go ahead and bring that up here. Since I brought it up, it reminded me. So Saturday we got Dragon Trail Seaside Group 3. And let's see what the time trials are looking at. Looks like everybody's running. Oh, that's right. I think they're all running the Supra. Yeah. I haven't even put a time in yet, but Group 3 at Seaside. This race here was the very first Nations race I did. I think it was actually the right way around rather than reverse. Yeah, because we came up the hill, around the corner, down the start straight line, and into the big corner, into the big left. That takes you around to the chicane. And the reverse is the other way around, where you come down the long straight through the chicane, around the big corner, and down the start straight line, and then up to the hill to the double 90. I got second place because I misjudged tires, and I come around on the last lap, or the lap before the last lap, and spun the car. Didn't spin it all the way out, but it got sideways, and I had, in the process of working it back into a straight line, the guy in second place passed me up. But then I was able to use him to help pull me along to keep my second place. So the 911 is a really strong car here. Of course, back then the 911 was a lot more fuel friendly too, and they were running real fuel heavy greases. So that changed shortly after this batch of races here, where I did that Nations race. The Supra, what's the fuel settings going to be? Yeah, no, I will not be using the Supra. That right there is going to kill the Supra. The Porsche, well, should be okay. The Viper is definitely going to be okay. Trying to think of some other cars that might be okay. But don't go off of this.
you're not going to run the Super in this race. If you go into this race with a Super with Type 7 tire wear at 20 laps, and we got race details. You got to use both tire compounds, mediums and hards, so you're going to have to make one pit. 20 laps. In the Porsche, you should be able to do like 4 or 5 on the hards and then the rest on mediums. In the Super, you're going to have to go almost half the race on hards because it's not going to, the mediums aren't going to last that long. And I'm wrong. I was thinking that this was Gardens, not Seaside. Gardens was the one I did the First Nations race in. Yeah, I'll be taking the Viper into this one. The Viper is really strong here. It goes through this chicane so nice because it's a narrow car, and then it handles the sweeping turns really well. Where it does have an issue here at this what would normally be the turn 2 chicane, and it's not so much of a problem going the way we're going as it is a problem going the other way around, but you still have an issue because what happens is you'll come down and this goes, it makes a left into a steep downhill, and then you make a right, and because you're going downhill, as you come around that right, it tries to kick the rear end out on you, so you have to be real careful. The Porsche is going to that's going to be emphasized even more because of the weight's all in the rear. So you be careful with that on pretty much any car, but this should be a fun one. I like dragging trails, especially the Seaside. I like the Gardens too. I like the way the what I call the four corners is, and I'll show you that. It's a fictional track, so there's people that I hear it all the time, and it's one of the things that turns me off to this channel anymore is hearing about, all I like is the real tracks. I don't like the fictional tracks, but to each his own. I'm gonna go into create a lobby. Okay, so we're going to create a room, and we're going to choose Dragon Trail Gardens, and it doesn't matter which one. But you see, okay, so you come here and you got 1, 2, 3, 4 corners, and it's a continuous turn, and right back in here is where your apex is at. So you're treating these two as one corner, and you're treating these two as one corner, and this is the entrance to the corner, and this is the exit to the corner, and then you'll come up the hill. We're going, if we were going in reverse, you'd be coming back this way, and it's actually more fun going reverse because or no, wait a second. That's the normal way is this way. They're in reverse. You're coming down the hill this way, and going around this way, and then the normal way you're coming from down here and going down this way and coming back around this way. So the normal way is actually a little bit more fun because what happens is you're coming down a hill, and you have to right back in here. You have to get over to the left and let out the accelerator, and you just sort of coast through these two corners here, and trail braking. And then back in here, you'll accelerate, and you'll accelerate all the way up the hill, all the way up to here. So you got it's going the normal way. It's a much more impactful turn because if you don't get it right, the acceleration along the straight is not going to be right, and you're going to lose a punch time. Going to reverse, you only got this small little straight here now. Once you make this turn here and this turn here, this one's important because you want to get yourself situated right here so that you're coming out on the left-hand side of the track, and you're going to go straight across that little hook right there. If you don't get yourself positioned right, you got to lift off the accelerator to go through that little hook there, and then you're into the hairpin, and then down the big straight. But we can do Seaside too as well. I like Seaside as well, and I'll be definitely using the Viper for that. So we'll see you on Sunday or Saturday. I don't don't want to shut that down. I need to shut this down.